Good afternoon. Welcome to OG Dweeb. Old Man OG went on a fishing trip even though it's 91 degrees out. And I downloaded this Tunnels and Trolls game I came across and I thought I'd give it a try. I'm going to start with just the random warrior, the pre-rolled warrior. What's his name? My little thing's like Borgoth. Dwarf Warrior, level 1. And apparently some of these adventures are free and some you have to pay gems for, which I believe is real money. But we're going to try the Ascendant. So let's continue our adventure. Let's see. Grey Barrow, the village you grew up in and began to think you'll die in. When you were a child, you dreamed of adventure, but for many reasons you never ended up leaving Grey Barrow. The only interesting thing about it are the Cladish ruins, home of your legendary barbarian ancestors. And one day you find yourself descending into these ruins. New adventure. Music's pretty good. Grey Barrow, the village you grew up in, the village you think you will die in. Or excuse me, the village you begin to think you will die in. Continue. When you were a child, you dreamed of adventure, of traveling the world, exploring new and exciting places. Places whose name rang in your imagination. Gaul, the City of Terrors, the Imperial City of Kazan, and the Nagalands. But for many reasons, fear, responsibility, circumstance, you never ended up leaving Grey Barrow. Possibly the only interesting thing about Grey Barrow is the Cladish ruins, supposed home of your ancestors, rumored to be a great barbarian tribe. It is where you spent most of your free time as a child, climbing its ancient structures, pretending you were a great warrior and slaying imaginary monsters. Mind you, in all your youthful explorations, you never saw a hint that warriors inhabited the place, not a single weapon or piece of armor. As you got older, you began to doubt legends. Most likely your ancestors were not barbarians, they were just simple peasants like yourself. And you are pretty sure that all the ruins former inhabitants ever really did was use up all the best resources, forever dooming you and Grey Barrow to mediocrity. It is that realization that made you give up your dreams and take up your current profession. What do you choose? Blacksmith's apprentice or forester? I would say forester would probably be more advantageous in the long run, but yeah, let's go with forester. Living in the forest was a romantic idea, but trapping animals and chopping trees is very hard work, and you are always on the brink of destitution. You hoped that you would become a ranger and travel the world, but that requires two things: skills which are long in mastering, and proper gear which you cannot afford. Yet knowing how to live off the land may come in handy. You also start with a felling axe that does 2 dice damage. Tell me more about the gear. Adventurers often have to resort to combat, and proper equipment can mean the difference between life and death. When you receive a new item, it will automatically equip if the slot is available, or go into your inventory if there isn't. After you find a new weapon or armor, it's always a good idea to check your inventory to make sure that you are equipping your best items available. Okay, return to the adventure. Ooh. One day you are cleaning some secondhand traps when one of the trip plates breaks off. On the plate is a symbol of the Cladish people that you have seen many times on a wall in the ruins. You cannot remember the last time you were this excited. Grabbing your axe, you head for the ruins. You reach the wall in the ruins and press the disc into the relief. It's a perfect match. There's a rumbling of stone, and part of the wall slides into the ground, revealing a secret entrance. Rows of torches mysteriously burst to life, illuminating a long and ancient-looking stone stairway that goes deep underground. Mustering up all of your courage, you take your first hesitant step down the old stone stairway and into the unknown. Oh boy, here we go. Enter the dungeon. As you descend the stairway, you notice images on the walls that are obscured by untold centuries worth of dirt and cobwebs. You rip off a piece of your shirt and use it to clean away the grime. The images of hieroglyphs that seem to depict a series of trials once undertaken by great warriors. Your understanding of Cladish is very vague at best, but you have spent enough time in the ruins to get the gist of things. Oh my goodness. Wow, that looks like some kind of an altar of worship. When you are a few steps down the staircase. The entrance slams shut behind you. Having no choice, you proceed downward to a large circular room with an exit on the other end. In the center of the room is a massive, strangely carved stone idol resting atop a pedestal. You can see that countless hands have worn marks in the stone trying to lift it. Lifting the stone would require a massive amount of strength. We can enter the open door. Try to lift the stone, or tell me about saving rolls. Well, let's see here. Gee whiz, I wonder what's going to happen next. But they better tell us about the saving rolls, right? Saving rolls test your attributes. The higher the saving roll, the more difficult the test is. You'll roll 2 dice and try to beat the target. If you roll doubles, roll again and combine the result. Well, that's pretty cool. This way, even a low-level character has a chance, no matter how small, to accomplish a heroic feat. Rolling a 3 is always a failure. Well, I'll roll a 3. Let's see. So do we enter the open door or try to lift the stone? Well, he's a level 1 dwarf warrior. I don't know what his strength is. Let's see if I can look. His strength is... Sorry about that, I got a phone call. Anyway, his strength is 28, Constitution 32, Dexterity 12, Luck 14, Intelligence 6. Oh boy. Charisma 10. I am not familiar with the way Tunnels and Trolls works, modern Tunnels and Trolls works, and I haven't played it in 30 years, so I'm not really sure what a 28 strength would do. So I think we're going to go ahead and just enter the open door. Beyond the doorway is a large, musty-smelling chamber. There, atop a pile of dusty bones, lies a mummified figure with a terrible creaking sound. It turns its head in your direction. Terror grips you. This is a real monster, not some child's play creature you fought in your imagination. Oh boy, here we go. Slowly, it begins to rise from its ancient slumber. If you are quick enough, perhaps you can attack before it's fully mobile. You will need to make a saving roll on your dexterity in order to make it happen. Okay, well, he's got a 32 dexterity, so Cole, please. Hopefully my terrible physical dice rolling does not come into play here, but roll on dexterity. Throw the required 20 dex, target 8. Okay, throw the dice. And I failed by 1. See, I wasn't lying when I told you guys I'm terrible at rolling, but I did fail. You are not quite fast enough. The mummified ghoul leaps at you from his bone pile, claws extended. Let's do the combat tutorial. The combat is straightforward affair. Each side rolls their dice and adds their combat adds. Higher total wins the round, and the loser takes the difference in damage. Armor will reduce the damage taken, with the remainder decreasing your constitution. You get 1 combat add for each point of strength, dexterity, and luck over 12. To reflect the fact that combat is inherently dangerous, Tunnels and Trolls Adventures uses the concepts of spite damage. Every time a 6 is rolled on a die, a point of damage is inflicted to the opponent in spite of who wins or loses, and regardless of any armor. So beware, spite damage can kill you, even if you are considerably stronger than your opponent. That's a really interesting concept. I kind of like that, because then even, you know, the PP creatures like the giant rats, and, you know, that could still be a challenge for somebody of a higher level. That's a good idea. Back to adventure. Alright, let's fight them. In a panic frenzy, you smash the ghoul to bits. After you calm down a bit, the revelation hits. I just killed a real monster. It was much more of a rush than you could have possibly imagined. For the first time in your life, you truly feel like a person you always wanted to be. Your experience fills you with a sense of invincibility. For the duration of the adventure, your constitution has been increased by 7. Wow. Tell me more about attributes. A character has 6 attributes: strength, constitution, dexterity, luck, intelligence, and charisma. These stats determine the character's prowess in certain situations. Constitution, for example, indicates how much damage a character can take before dying. During adventures, your attributes will change due to taking damage in combat, receiving buffs or debuffs, and other experiences. These changes are temporary and only last in the current adventure. Your permanent attributes, which can only be changed by leveling up, are on the left column of your character sheet. Your current temporary attribute scores are on the right one. Okay, back to the adventure. Let's continue. In the bone pile, you see an old rusty dagger. It does not look like much, but if you want to survive in this place, you need all the help that you can get. You grab the dagger and take a few experimental swings. In combat, it will do 2 dice of damage. Tucking the dagger behind your belt, you move on. Tell me about equipment. When you receive a new item, it will automatically equip itself if there's a slot available. If there is no slot available, the item will go into the inventory until it's equipped, dropped, or sold. After you find a new item, like weapons or armor, it is a good idea to check your inventory and make sure you are equipping the best item available. Back to the adventure. Okay, so let's click on Borgoth and view his inventory. And it looks like he is already equipped with the best equipment, because here's some down arrows. Okay. Continue. You exit the room through a short twisting tunnel, and soon the path widens, leading to a cavern. Inside is a figure in a state of extreme decay, sitting on a chair and reading from a book. His mouth moves silently as if he were narrating something. Approach the figure. You look at the mysterious figure and begin to hear the gibberish of an alien language echoing in your head. The words are painful and claw at your sanity. To resist the effect of the strange chant, you must perform a saving roll on Constitution. Required 20 Constitution, target 4. Throw the dice. 7. Alright. Success. The voice just makes you angry. A violent rage takes you, blocking out the pain and madness. This newfound fury grants 3 points to your strength and constitution for the remainder of the adventure. You let out a terrifying battle cry and charge the figure. The figure stops reading, and its eyes burst into flames. It begins tearing out pages from the book and throwing them at you, instantly turning into fireballs. Fight. You won the round. Pyromancer takes 16 damage, is now dead. The decaying wizard is no match for your rage. Its body explodes, covering the room with ash, bone fragments, and gore. You wonder what eldritch magic has tied the sorcerer to this place. Was he a sworn enemy of your people, or their obedient slave? Shrugging, you continue down the hall towards the unknown. And I think we'll stop here. Wow, this is really good so far. I enjoy the writing. It's pretty good. I'm curious to see exactly what he's going to find down there. Sounds like it's going to be more of like a mummies and zombies type of adventure. I like the soundtrack. And again, like I said, I just went ahead with a character that was pre-rolled, but you can make your own character. That's pretty cool. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little walkthrough with me, and if you pick up this game, let me know how you fare. I'll talk to you guys later.